Your baby's amazing journey begins with a single moment. This is the moment of fertilization. It happens when one sperm cell meets an egg cell. This usually takes place in a fallopian tube. The egg and sperm join together to create a brand new cell. This first cell is called a zygote. It is incredibly tiny, smaller than a grain of salt, but it holds all the genetic information needed to grow into a complete person. This includes things like hair color, eye color, and even parts of their personality. It is the very first blueprint for your future baby, containing a unique set of instructions from both parents. Once the zygote is formed, it starts to divide very quickly. One cell becomes 2, then 2 become 4, then 4 become 8, and so on. This process is called cleavage. As these cells multiply, they form a tiny solid ball called a morula. This little ball of cells keeps traveling down the fallopian tube toward the uterus. The journey itself takes a few days. During this time, the cells are not just dividing, they are also beginning to organize. It's an incredibly busy time, even though you would not feel anything happening inside your body just yet. The foundation for a new life is being carefully laid, one cell division at a time. After a few more days, the ball of cells continues to change. It becomes a hollow structure called a blastocyst. The blastocyst has two main parts. There is an inner group of cells that will eventually become the baby. Then there is an outer layer of cells. This outer layer will develop into the placenta. The placenta is a very important organ. It will provide oxygen and nutrients to your growing baby throughout the entire pregnancy. The blastocyst floats inside the uterus for a day or two, looking for the perfect spot to attach itself and begin the next stage of its incredible development. The final step in this first week is called implantation. This is when the blastocyst burrows into the soft, nutrient-rich lining of the uterus. This is a crucial moment. Once implantation is successful, the blastocyst can start receiving nourishment from the mother's body. This connection is what allows the pregnancy to continue and grow. The outer cells of the blastocyst start to produce a hormone called HCG. This is the hormone that pregnancy tests detect to give you a positive result. From this moment on, your body begins to change to support the new life growing inside. Once implantation is complete, the embryonic period begins. This stage lasts from about week 3 to the end of week 8 of pregnancy. During these few weeks, the most incredible and rapid development occurs. The inner group of cells from the blastocyst starts to form 3 distinct layers. These layers are called the ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. Each layer is responsible for creating specific parts of the body. It's like a construction project where different teams are assigned to build the foundation, the frame, and the internal systems of a house. This is the fundamental blueprint taking shape. The top layer, the ectoderm, is responsible for developing the nervous system. This includes the brain, spinal cord, and all the nerves. It also forms the baby's skin, hair, and nails. One of the very first things to form is the neural tube, which will become the brain and spinal cord. The middle layer, the mesoderm, will build the baby's heart and circulatory system. It also forms the muscles, cartilage, bone, and the deeper layers of skin. The heart is one of the first organs to function, often starting to beat as early as the 6th week of pregnancy, a tiny flicker of life. The inner layer, the endoderm, develops into the baby's internal organs. This includes the lungs, the intestines, the bladder, the liver, and the pancreas. It essentially creates the entire digestive and respiratory systems. As these organs begin to form, a support system is also growing. The amniotic sac fills with fluid to cushion and protect the developing embryo. The yolk sac provides early nutrients until the placenta is fully formed and ready to take over this important job. It's a complex and coordinated process, ensuring every part has what it needs to grow correctly. By the end of the 8th week, the embryo has transformed dramatically. It is now about an inch long, roughly the size of a raspberry. All the major organs and basic body structures are in place. Tiny arms and legs have formed, complete with little fingers and toes. The embryo even has eyelids, a nose, and a mouth. Although it is still very small, it looks much more like a miniature human. This marks the end of the most critical period of development, setting the stage for the next phase of growth as a fetus. At the beginning of the 9th week of pregnancy, Your developing baby gets a new name. It is no longer called an embryo. It is now officially a fetus. This transition signifies that the most critical part of development is over. All the essential organs and body parts are already formed. The fetal stage, which lasts from week 9 until birth, is primarily a time for growth and maturation. The main job for the fetus is to get bigger and stronger. The organs that were formed during the embryonic period will now continue to develop and become functional, preparing for life outside the womb. During the first few weeks of the fetal period, many details are refined. The fetus's face becomes more defined and human-like. The eyelids, which were formed earlier, now fuse shut to protect the developing eyes. They will not open again until much later in the pregnancy. Tiny fingernails and toenails begin to appear on the tips of the fingers and toes. The fetus can now make small, jerky movements, although they are still too slight for the mother to feel. The reproductive organs also form, but it might still be too early to determine the baby's sex on an ultrasound scan. As the fetus enters the second trimester, around week 13, the growth becomes even more rapid. The skeleton, which started as soft cartilage, begins to harden into bone. The fetus can now swallow amniotic fluid, which helps the digestive system to practice and develop. The kidneys start to produce urine, which is released back into the amniotic sac. The liver and pancreas are also beginning to function. This period is a busy time for internal systems to practice their jobs, getting ready for the day they will need to work independently after birth. By the end of the 4th month, the fetus is about 6 inches long. The nervous system is developing rapidly, allowing the fetus to make more coordinated movements. It can now squint, frown, and even suck its thumb. The skin is still very thin and translucent, and you could see the blood vessels underneath it. Fingerprints and footprints, which are completely unique to your baby, are now forming on the skin of the hands and feet. This little person is becoming more and more complete with each passing day, preparing for their grand entrance into the world. The second trimester, which spans from month 4 to month 6, is a period of amazing sensory development. The fetus's ears are now fully formed, and it can hear sounds from outside the womb. It can hear the mother's heartbeat, the sound of her voice, and even music. This is a wonderful time for parents to start talking and singing to their baby. The eyes can now detect light. If a bright light is shown on the mother's belly, the fetus might even turn away from it. The baby is becoming more aware of its surroundings, even from within the protective darkness of the uterus. As the pregnancy moves into the 3rd and final trimester, starting around week 28, the focus is on gaining weight and preparing for birth. The fetus puts on layers of fat, which will help it regulate its body temperature after it is born. The lungs are one of the last major organs to fully mature. The fetus practices breathing by inhaling and exhaling amniotic fluid, which strengthens the lung muscles. The brain is also growing incredibly fast, forming billions of connections that will control everything from breathing to thinking after birth. The fetus develops patterns of sleeping and waking. In the final weeks leading up to birth, the baby is nearly ready for the outside world. Most babies will turn into a head-down position to get ready for delivery. The movements might feel different to the mother, changing from sharp kicks to slower, rolling motions as the baby runs out of space. The baby can open and close its eyes, suck its thumb, and respond to familiar sounds like its parents' voices. The lungs are producing a substance called surfactant, which is vital for preventing the air sacs from collapsing when the baby takes its first breath. By the time of birth, the average baby is about 20 inches long and weighs around 7.5 pounds. It has spent approximately 40 weeks growing from a single cell into a fully formed person, ready to live and breathe on its own. The journey from a tiny embryo to a newborn baby is one of the most complex and wonderful processes in nature. Every kick, every hiccup, and every quiet moment of growth in the womb is part of a perfect plan, preparing your baby to finally meet you and begin a new journey of life in the world.